Okay, we'll get started. There are some folks that will join us later, and that's fine. We are happy to take you through in the next hour the basics of DSST, answer some questions, and again, we do hope to have many of your questions at the end. Brief introductions. My name is Michael Holliday. I'll be with you here this morning. I work with the Language Proficiency and Prior Learning Assessments angle of Prometric, which, much to my delight, includes DSST. We're really happy to be sharing with you about this product, and I just think it's such incredible value that I always love to talk about it. And I'm joined by my colleague, Nick.
Thank you, Michael. Nick Johnson here. I've had the privilege of speaking with many of you. I'm looking through the participants and definitely recognizing some names. I'm overseeing our DSST exam portfolio now. I have been for coming on a year. I've been at Prometric about 4 years, and this has definitely been the most exciting thing I've done while I've been at Prometric, the most rewarding. There's definitely a lot of value in this program, and we're excited to be able to have all you guys here kind of share some information, as I think when COVID happened, like many programs, right, we kind of forgot about what was out there. So this is just a good reminder about DSST, and hopefully we'll be able to share some of the stuff we've got going on over the past year and some more information on what's to come. So back over to Michael to go through kind of the overview of today's webinar.
Great, thanks, Nick. So here's what we're going to be covering today. And again, you know, if you want to ask questions, feel free to drop them into the Q&A. So we have an agenda lined up for you here. And so we want to do a refresher of the benefits of DSST, like what is so great about this program. We may be preaching to the proverbial choir. I know many of you know the benefits, but we certainly want to hit upon why our test takers choose to take DSST exams. We're going to go through some of the exam titles and make sure that you're all aware of what's actually available. I think there's quite a large offering that we want to make sure everyone is aware of. We're going to talk about marketing and ways that we can help you. And so that's a big thing that Nick's been working on, is how do we tell the DSST story and give you the collateral you need when you're reaching out with your students. If you're a test center, if you're an ESO, what are you doing to help make sure that your students understand that this is available? And then we're going to give you some support resources. So we really want to partner with you on this and make sure that we are being as helpful as we can to you. We're very open to feedback on anything we can do to make that communication better, if there's any way that we can support you. So we'll make sure you have all the tools to reach out to us after we're done the webinar today. So for those of you that don't know sort of how large this program is, you know, we're excited that we've already awarded over 1 million college credits since 2010. Now, as many of you are aware, some of them are 3 credits, some of them are 6. And that means we're coming up upon 500,000 delivered exams, hopefully in the next little while here, but 350,000 plus. We have a number of locations, and we want to make sure that, again, if you're in NTC or if you're on base or if you're at a college, whatever the case is, that you have the tools you need to promote this to your students. But there was a question earlier as well about, do we have remote proctoring? Can you take this exam from home? We'll touch upon that a little bit later. I think that the main message is that we want to make sure that test takers have all kinds of options to be able to take these exams. That includes at home, remote proctoring, and of course that will always include our test center partners, where a lot of our students prefer to take the test. Now, you'll see here coming up a number of the schools that we work with. We have a handy tool on the website. So again, if some of you may be advising around transfer, those kinds of things, and we've heard this from folks that are advising around education. You know, if a DSST exam is accepted at, say, your school, but you have a student that's looking to transfer into another school, does that work? So we have a tool where you can identify where we offer test centers and also which institutions accept DSST exams. That's available via our website, but we're certainly open to partnering with an increasing number of institutions as everyone just comes out and realizes the value of DSST exam program. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Nick to go into more detail about, you know, the main benefits of DSST, and then we're going to try and give you some interesting statistics and some updates on what we've been up to in the last few years as well. So, Nick.
Perfect. Thank you, Michael. And again, everyone, if you have questions, feel free to write those in the chat, or I think there's a Q&A portion. And what we're going to do too, if there's any questions we can't get into, we're going to put together an FAQ. We're going to send that out with everything that you guys have asked. And then this will also be recorded and sent out. I know that someone had a question about that. So very excited to share some more information on this DSST program. As you know, I know how powerful and beneficial it can be to both service members and civilians, as I've kind of seen firsthand the difference it's made in the lives of others. We were at the CCME conference last March, and for those that aren't familiar, it's the Council of College and Military Educators, where I was speaking firsthand with service members who, were able to benefit greatly from the DSST exam program, and it helped them with three big things. It helped them save time when it came to their education. They were able to meet their general education and elective courses, in more than half the time. They were able to graduate sooner. They were able to accumulate the credits quickly, and help them earn that degree faster. And then third, they were able to save money. So each exam cost for the DSST exams is $100 for the commercial. So say you're just an adult learner, you're just a regular student at a university, they accept DSST credits, you're going to pay $100 out the door, and that'll give you the ability to sit for one of these exams. But if you are a service member, there's an awesome program through our partner Dante's that allows you to be eligible for Dante's funded exams, where they take care of the bill completely. That $100 is completely funded for by them. And if you're any serving member in the U.S. military services, it includes the National Guard and Reserve components in the U.S. Coast Guard. If you're U.S. Coast Guard spouses, Air Force civilian employees, as well as some military eligible spouses using my CAA, you were able to get this funded directly through Dante's. And they got a bunch of really cool programs. I think they have, this is one of many. And they also do a really good job at preparing you for these programs. So they make sure you know kind of how to get ready for the exams. There's a lot of really awesome ESOs out there that kind of educate their candidates and keep them up to date with everything. So moving on, I just wanted to go over a couple quick facts about the DSST exam program. One of which is that Prometric, who owns the DSST exams, is a 30-year-old high stakes exam company, right? So that means when it comes to developing exams, we've developed a few before. So 30 years of experience developing these exams has helped us put down a process when it comes to the DSST exams so that they can be legally defensible, they can be valid, they can be credible, and that they can, have the highest standard of assessment. And this comes down to point number 2, the ACE accreditation. So all of our exams are ACE accredited through the American Council of Education, which is the primary coordinating body for all U.S. higher ed institutions, as many of you guys know. So when it comes to schools looking at and universities looking at, what exams are there, what should we accept, that's where they're going to go. They're going to go to the ACE accreditation. That's where we're going to accept it. That's where you're going to decide whether it's worth a lower level class, where it's a upper level class. It'll all be on the ACE accreditation. And it's for your university to decide whether it's accepted for credit. And then lastly is the use of the DSST exam program has been growing significantly since 1982. So just to touch on the size of the program, right? It's not something that, was just started a few years ago. This has been around for a while. It's a very sophisticated program with over 1,000 universities that are recognizing the DSST for credits, and more than 10,000 candidates annually that are able to take advantage of this program. All right. Here you can see the exams that we currently have in the exam portfolio. And I highlighted a few that I wanted to touch on. We have 37 total. You can see across different subjects. We have social and physical science. We have business, mathematics, technology, and humanities. The first one I wanted to touch on was the business ethics and society, just because this is one of our most popular titles, as it is widely accepted across universities, and it does have a really good pass rate, which you'll see on the next slide. And second is the principles of supervision exam. This is our #1 most popular DSST title. This exam is a perfect example of service members being able to use past knowledge and their work experience to have a good understanding of a subject so that they can test out of it. So a lot of service members, they'll have a really good understanding of organizational skills, supervising, planning, so with a few weeks of studying and touching up on some book terms, they can be really ready to tackle this exam and test out and, save money, graduate sooner, do all those things we were talking about earlier. And third is the public speaking exam. This exam is also very popular. I think it's our second most taken title. And I wanted to mention that not all testing centers offer the public speaking exam, as you do have to have a separate room where you're on your own, you're private, you're not around anybody. And then remote proctoring does not offer public speaking. So if you are interested in if you have a center right now and you previously didn't have a room, but maybe you've expanded and you now have a room and you don't offer public speaking, this is a really good exam to offer to get people in the door taking your exams, because it's our most popular exam, and not every center even delivers it. So that says something. I can imagine how many people would be taking it if it was at every center. So and moving on to the exam pass rates, I just want to sit on this slide for a minute, kind of let everyone take this in. If there's anything you want to write down, this is all found directly on the Dante's website. So every year they put this out for the previous fiscal. I didn't know if there was anything you wanted to jump in and add, Michael. Kind of take this as a stopping point here.
No, I think I think it's helpful, especially when you're advising students that are going after some of the titles with the lower pass rate. So if you look down here at business mathematics, fundamentals of college algebra, I think there's a lot to be said for the preparation that we're going to get into. And I always think of examples as you may know a subject very well, but to be able to also prepare for demonstrating that subject on the test is really helpful. And that's why we always advise, like, even if you know principles of supervision, right? That's what you did in your career. You're exceptionally well versed in this. It's a good idea to do the prep anyways. I have an example from a past life that I'll share very briefly. But when I was working at a business school, I was in charge of admissions. And of course, a lot of students had to take the GMAT to get into business school. And there were a number of times where I would see a fairly low math score, quantitative score from engineers. And I would say, so what's going on? Why are you getting a low score in quants? And the answer was always like, well, I'm an engineer. I know quants. I didn't figure I had to prepare for it. So you want to, as much as possible, close the gap between what people know and what they're achieving. And I think preparation is a really great way to do that. So that's why we're putting a lot more emphasis on, it's one thing if you know the subject, but by all means, we do have excellent preparation materials out there. And for your students, that's going to help that pass rate go up significantly.
Speaking of prep tools, here we have a few. So we have our top two when it comes to popularity. We have EBSCO and Peterson's. So both of these have over 30 plus exam subjects available. They're both readily, I think, all 24/7 remote access. So a lot of our candidates and test takers are looking at EBSCO Peterson's to just trying to freshen up on what they do know. And we also have DSST Prep and our own internal practice exams for about 15 different titles available on our website, which is just the getcollegecredit.com for anybody to go on, download to practice for free. So again, getcollegecredit.com has a lot of that. Okay. Next, I wanted to just touch on the different ways that you can register for a DSST exam. This is one of the things that when I kind of first took over the program, I went on our website and I was kind of looking, how do you register for an exam? And it didn't really make much sense. It took me about 30 minutes, and I'm a Prometric employee, to try to figure out how someone would go in and take this exam. So we did look at that, and we try to put through a typical workflow of a average candidate, what they're going to do, and hopefully make it a little easier for them. So what we did is we have 3 workflows and 3 ways that you can register for an exam. First, on our website on the top left, you can see that you can click to find a testing center near you, and you can register at a testing center local to you. So this will get a partner university or an institution, like many of those of you on the call, or on a military base, and you will be contacting the site directly. They're going to be scheduling the exam with you at your earliest convenience. They'll be paying you through TCNet. It'll all be done on that end. The second option is for when testing centers are not as good of an option. This is, our remote proctoring solution. We touched on this earlier. And candidates can log in to our website. They can create an account. They can schedule a remote exam. Doesn't have to be between the hours of 9 to 5. If someone's got crazy hours, they need 3 things. They need a computer, a working computer. They need stable Wi-Fi, and they need a room that's private, obviously can't do no fake background. I'm not in the probametric office. No background. You're going to have to go around, right? There's a TV over here plugged in. They're going to have to unplug it. It's a very rigorous remote proctoring solution. We have a lot of clients such as FINRA, the National Mortgage Broker Association, those that are a lot more high stakes exam programs, they're using the same remote proctoring. So we definitely feel confident in it. And then the third option is a Prometric corporate center, right? Where you would go to take a FINRA exam. We do have those located all across the world. So if someone's case was, they had a 2-hour drive for one of their NTCs, they could, if someone was 20 minutes away for a Prometric corporate center, they can just take that drive and go take it there. But public speaking is not going to be at a corporate center or remote proctoring, which I believe I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, just to add here, Nick, I think that the main message here is that we've really tried to make the website a lot more intuitive. Nick's put a lot of work into thinking about, okay, if I come here as a test taker, how can I very quickly find the path that works best for me? And we know that there's quite a bit of diversity, as I mentioned earlier, in terms of what works best for families. If it's my home, I have children, there's no way I'm getting enough time by myself in a room to sit a remote proctored exam. That's just not happening. I need to go to a test center. There are others for which like at home is the perfect solution. So we really want to make sure that we're being sensitive to all the different needs that families have and that it's accessible. And so as you're going through and advising your students, it's a good thing to keep in mind that we will always have all modalities, right? There's no idea that we'll do everything in a test center one day or everything remote someday. We know from experience in our many other lines of business at Prometric that there isn't a one-size-fits-all solution.
Nope. And then just to touch on a question we have that's related to this, I see on the anonymous attendee has mentioned on the DSST site under Find a Testing Center, there are 3 different filters. What's the difference between Dante's fully funded testing centers, locations that deliver, and locations that accept, I believe it was. So just to touch on that, there are 3 different filters when you go to Find a Testing Center on our Get College Credit website. There's fully funded, which you mentioned, Dante's fully funded. Those are always going to, in most cases, be at the military bases, and those are where candidates can go and have Dante's pay the exam fee for them. So really, anyone should be. Most sites are Dante's fully funded. 2 is organizations that accept credit. So those are, you accept it for credit. You might not accept all 37 titles, but you do accept some of them. And then the ones that deliver, those that are set up in a testing center. So most of our sites have all 3. And then some, they might only accept for credit and be fully funded, but they don't deliver because they don't have a testing center set up. So then someone would have to look elsewhere. So those are the difference between the 3. Okay. And then remote proctoring, I don't want to touch on this too much. I know I did already talk a little bit about it, but there was a question about it. And one of the things I wanted to highlight when it comes to the remote proctoring was a study we did, because I know when remote proctoring first came on to the scene a few years ago, it was, how secure is it? Security was a big thing. Can people, look off the screen? Can someone be next to them? What's the deal with it? And I just wanted to highlight a study that really shows, the similarity between candidates going to a testing center and doing remote proctoring across 16 different exams. And this wasn't even DSST. I think DSST might have been part of it, but 16 random exams and random subjects, and it was almost identical. But I just wanted to note for the testing industry here, remote proctoring is great. It's an option, but it's not going to take away anything that we have at our current testing centers. I think what we have with the current NTC program is so valuable that it's never going to go away. We still need it. We need more NTCs. We need to show the support to the NTCs we have. We need to be there for you guys, because nobody here thinks that remote proctoring is just going to take all that away overnight. So we have it as an option, but it's definitely just one of many options. Okay. And collateral, just some of the promotional material. This is how can we help you? So a couple of the things that we've been doing is we've been putting together some marketing material, such as a 1-pager that you can see here in the middle. We have a poster on the right-hand side, and this is just stuff that you guys can have to hand out, hang up at the center, hand out at the advising offices. And it's all located on our website. So if you sign in to the Get College Credit under your TCA portal and you have the administrative guide and all that information, all of this material will be located and housed there, with more to come. And we also have a trifold I can show here. I know the trifold was definitely top of mind at CCME. People were like, this would be awesome. So we do have it on our website, and I put my email here. I would love everyone to just write down that email, take a picture of it, email me just so you have it in your system. You probably already got an email from me at this point already. And if you ever need anything, just shoot me an email and let me know what you need, right? Like if you're like, oh my gosh, we have this event coming up, I need 100 trifolds and a poster because that would really help us. Like we can see what we can do. Obviously, if you can print it, it's all available to you. But worst case scenario, we can see what we can do. Just give us a couple weeks heads up. Not next day. It's a little tough, unless I'll be driving from Florida.
Yeah, and there's a question here, Nick, about having educational resources specific to military students at the military vet office. And I think we would certainly be happy to be in touch with any office that would like to display these materials, and we'd like to get them in front of everyone. One of the sort of strategies we have is that when we print these materials, we like to keep them pretty general and not timestamp them, so that if we print a whole bunch of them, we can, they don't all say 2023 and then we have to recycle them and print more ones for next year. And the other thing, if you just go back one slide briefly, Nick, we try to put QR codes and things on that so that you're getting general information, and then you scan the QR, you go to the website and you learn more. And it's also a way to keep it evergreen so that if any information changes, we don't have to toss out the brochures. Most of the information that you're getting is from our website. So we really try to rely on that combination of physical trifolds and things to put into test takers' hands, into the hands of NTCs, any advisors, so that you can hand something out, but at the same time, it doesn't have to have all the detail that would be contained in our website. So that's our strategy there. And we're happy, as Nick said, email him, and he'll turn it around really quick in terms of getting materials out to you.
Thank you. But don't email me too much. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding. There's never too much. And then our social media, right? So we talked about footprint at the centers in person. What about online? We are getting back on social media. I think there was a lapse. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, I believe all of those are up and active. The new one is LinkedIn. For those of you who are on LinkedIn, we do have a LinkedIn now where we're going to start to promote new things. If we ever have, I don't know, a new exam, new webinar coming up, right? This is where you're going to see it firsthand, and just want to stay up to date on everything. And then speaking of upcoming webinars, we will be having more of these. This is the first of hopefully many. This one's a very general, right? DSST is here. What you need to know about the program. A chance for us to get some questions from you guys, be able to get all that out and know what's top of mind. But in the future, right, we're going to have very specific ones. I want to partner with different universities and institutions, see if we can host webinars for different universities. I want to host some webinars for potential candidates, see what we can do to work together to really get the word out there about the DSST program. So if you guys have any insight on that or do want to partner for anything, feel free to email me at any time. And NCTA is coming up. So I know in my conversations with a great group here, we've talked about NCTA. A lot of you all have mentioned it to me. You'd said you're going to be there, so we took a look at it, and it's definitely relevant for DSST. So we're going to have a booth. If you're there, we would love to see you stop on by. I believe I'll be there the full time. So looking forward to it. I think Michael's missing us this time, but he'll be there next time.
Yes, it's heartbreaking for me. It's going to be a great conference.
Yep. And at the conference, this is super high level, but we don't really need to go through it because we can go. It's all it's saying is, if you want to become a center and you're not already, right, go on our website, put in an application, we review it, we reach out with any questions. Super straightforward. It used to be a process that took a good month, and I think right now it's down to about 2 to 3 weeks if you reach out to us and you're not currently a DSST site. You can get up and running and start offering DSST exams. So if you're not a site and you saw this and you're interested in it, feel free to reach out to us. It's getcollegecredit.com, and you can have all the information there. And then everyone's probably favorite slide, take a photo of this, right? Our support contacts if you need anything. Here it is, reach out. You have different support teams for different problems, right? So if you have testing center problems, any Proctor TCA questions, Proctor questions, ESOs, advisors, that top left testing center email, the DSST center, they're going to be a good one. So if you're getting locked out of an account or something's going on, try calling that number, giving them an email. If it's technical support for TCNet, we do have a portal. It's ehelp@prometric.com. Don't know why the dot is there. So ehelp@prometric.com, and you can get into a live real-time chat agent who can hopefully troubleshoot things in real time if you're having issues with an exam. And then for candidates, they have our Get College Credit email. And I want to make sure everyone still has my email here. If there is an emergency, please reach out to me at any time.
So I think the other thing to mention, and we'll move into Q&A in a moment, but we also have a webinar coming up in late August that Nick will send on the details about, which will be geared more to candidates, right, to your students. So we're going to keep a regular cadence of these kinds of webinars. We want to keep you informed as our partners, and we certainly want to reach out directly to test takers so that we can get information to them. So you'll be able to forward on that information to the students at your institutions, or anyone you're in contact with that you think can benefit from joining one that is more focused at test takers. So that will be coming late August, and we're going to keep a regular, as I said, schedule of webinars, but we'll bring in guests, and we'll do other things to engage students and yourselves to make sure that we're giving excellent support. So I think with that, we're going to move into Q&A, and I see there's a whole bunch of questions that are being populated here that we can get to. Nick, you're able to see these too, right? Or do you want me to read off some of them?
Yep, I can see them.
You're the MC here, so yeah.
I'm trying to go through. I know I've answered a couple. So everyone, we will be sending out recordings. We will be sending out copy of the slides. I have are the pass rates broken down by military versus civilian? That question, it's a great question. I believe the pass rate file you saw, that's only going to be military. Because Dante's is for military candidates only. So that's a very good point. I should have mentioned that what you see there is for the military. I don't think we have one for only civilians. I'm not sure if I've seen that. All right, slides will be available.
There's a question here too about public speaking, which is, have we solved the issues that were impacting that exam? And the answer is yes. We have solved the issues that were impacting the public speaking exam. And, we're really sorry for the trouble that your students experienced with that. It was certainly something that we wanted to fix as soon as possible. Nobody likes to go into an exam that they're preparing for and probably didn't sleep well the night before and have test anxiety to a certain extent, right? All those things, all the work that people put into preparing for exams, we never want the outcome where it doesn't function properly. So we've put a lot of time and energy into making sure that works and functions properly. So knock on wood, there shouldn't be any issues there. It's a really important exam to us as well. And it's a little different from some of the others, right? Because you do have this speaking portion that has it. I can imagine it being maybe a little more nerve-wracking for people in the sense of you are being graded on an oral test rather than just the way that the other tests look. So solved it. We don't anticipate any further issues. If you are hearing of any issues, pass them on. We'll get to them quick. But all good to go. There's a question here about study.com. I'm not familiar with the resources there. I haven't used them. I would say that the resources that Nick has put up on the slide, those are the ones that we sort of are officially endorsing. Those are the ones that we know are created for DSST exams. Now, if you're going to go write an exam on X, Y, and Z topic, and people find other websites that are helpful for helping them gear up on that, I don't think I would weigh in on that, whatever students find helpful. But the ones that are sort of official DSST resources are the ones you can find via our website.
Yep. And then I have a question here. Do students pay the center a testing fee? So yes, what the candidate does is we have $100 fee for actually taking the exam, right? If it's non-Dante's funded. the center itself assigns what their fee is. We just put out our suggestion, which is $30. I think 80% of our centers are 30, some are 35, some are 25. But then you get that fee. The candidate pays that $130 fee to Prometric, and then monthly Prometric pays if you had 10 candidates, right? 10 times 30, whatever that fee may be to you directly on a monthly period. Charles, NCCA booth 10. Hopefully you're there. Hopefully we'll see you. Diana, I know you were asking the question regarding a one-time waiting period waiver for the same exam. I don't know if I'm taking this right way. Is this if there's maybe an issue with an exam, and instead of having to wait the 30 days to retake an exam, there could be a waiver to not have to wait that? If that's the question, that is correct. There is a waiver to get that cleared where they can retest right away. So I hope I answered that correctly.
And then we've got one about Silverlight. We have stopped using Silverlight in the public speaking exam. So that was a big part of the upgrades and the new tech software that we put in, is that it does not, you don't need Silverlight to run the public speaking exam anymore.
Perfect. And yep, Diana, if the candidate did not pass the exam and wants to retake it. So if it was a technical issue, that's when you're going to want to, reach out to us about it. If not, I believe they will have to wait that time. We're going through these. Anything you see, Michael?
Free prep materials, Nick. I think that's sort of a Dante's, non-Dante's
So for
answer.
Free prep materials, we do have practice exams on the Get College Credit website, but the only thing is it's only for 15 exams. So there is some information online. I'll just, personally speaking, as someone who's joined a lot of community groups, right? Like I'm in Facebook groups regarding the exam programs that are out there for credit by examination. And a lot of people recommend, I'm talking, parents who they're high schoolers and he's a senior and he's getting ready to go to school, and they're trying to get their kid to get extra college credits ahead of time. They're using Khan Academy, they're using YouTube. There's a lot of information out there that will really help you prepare, that you don't have to pay for. But that's obviously not like recommended to solely do. And then I do have a question from Keith. Do you have to be active? I'm assuming this is active military for the Dante's funded. You do, to get that $100 paid for you. I would reach out to Dante's directly if there is any exceptions they might do, but I know you do have to be active to take that. But I would reach out to them.
There's a question about the DSST raw scores. I don't believe that we would publish those. We do more of the pass rates, but I don't think that visibility on raw scores would be available. And free prep materials, you've addressed that. Thank you for your question. Lots of great questions in here.
Yeah, this is great. And then Walter, reach out. Walter Peterson, I will definitely reach out. And if you want to email me on the bottom right here, with exactly what's going on, I will have that done by end of day. We're trying to get these cleared out. Thank you guys very much.
And this question about the raw scores, I know this one here about civilians interested in taking DSST. If you want to reach out via email about that one, that's probably a decision or a conversation we can take offline. I just feel like I need to understand what that issue is a little more deeply.
I think so they're talking about the ACE accreditation. So if you go on the ACE, if you just Google DSST ACE accreditation, it will share the cut score that.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it's all on, I can provide that. It's all on ACE's website.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a couple questions about accommodations. Can we streamline? There was an issue with someone getting it actually applied. Please email me. I don't want that to be a problem. There should be a process on our website, but if you please email me whatever happened, I will definitely look into that and see if moving forward there could be a better resolution.
Public speaking. So there's a question here about, can we test it out? I think, Nick, we should be able to do that and make sure that it functions properly. I can understand why you might be a little bit hesitant about putting it back on the roster, but it's functioning very well now. So yeah, we're happy to do that and work with you to test it out and get that set up.
Please email. Please email me because there's someone I could introduce you to where they can like one-on-one go through a demo in real time, and I would love for you probably just to do that just to make sure everything's worked through. So I can definitely route you to the right team.
Great. And then Nick, there's about retakes.
Does Dante's always pay for exams and
Yeah.
retakes? If it's due to technical issues, it will be paid for 100%. If it's on us and that's the reason someone's having to go back to take an exam, they're not paying twice. But if a test taker has failed an exam that was Dante's funded and they want to retake it, that's not going to be covered. Dante's they'll cover 37 exams, but only one time each. They'll pay 37 different exams, but you can't try the same one 37 times.
And then in terms of reaching out to us about expanding Prometric beyond DSST, again, fire off Nick an email. We'll connect you with the right people if that's something that your test center is interested in. It really kind of comes down to where's the demand, where do we need more test centers, more coverage, and we can take that offline.
Perfect. And then Patrick Bennett, I've recently proctored a public speaking and it worked just fine. Awesome. Hopefully the candidate passed and moving on and getting some credits. That's awesome. Will you be changing from anonymous the testing fee paid to the centers in the coming year? No, so that's actually, it's up to you what you want the fee to be. We don't set that fee. That's the testing center who's going to decide what exactly they want to get. And like I said, it's $30 is the average, but we see anywhere from 20 to 40. Haley is needing to update site proctors. Is this now done through Easy Serve? Yeah, it's all done online. So if you just log in, if you have new proctors, they can just create an account on the getcollegecredit.com website as a proctor. They could take their proctor certification, the deal, get the administrative guide, go through that, pass the exam, and then that can help them get set up. And again, if you have any questions, if your proctors are ever having issues, the testing center email on the top left, DSSTcenter@prometric.com. That'll be a really good resource for you to hopefully get that fixed quickly.
There's a question here just a little ways back about how long do you not need to be a proctor to be able to take a DSST exam. I don't know what the time cutoff is on that. You can certainly email and we can give you the details. Of course, that's just to avoid sort of conflict of interest and the idea that you may have been exposed to some of the material. But I don't know the answer off the top of my head. We're happy to get you the answer.
Perfect. And then Diana was mentioning they pay they do charge $35 at MDC. Okay, for the military fee, that's what we're talking about. I believe that is set. That Michael, you're correct on that. That one is set.
I believe so. Yeah. Is there any way an NTC can know if the candidate has passed the Principles of Public Speaking exam?
So that's a good question. And Shirley and I know we've talked on and off about a couple things. I know this is probably everyone on here has seen the language around public speaking of the infamous I don't even remember. It was so bad. It was ask your provider about your score and you'll get it in X many weeks. And it was very confusing and it was showing the candidate. It made it look like it was on you guys. It was on the NTCs. That's where they're waiting for the score. And we changed it to be like, your score will come from Prometric. It will come from us. We will send it to you. If you have any issues, reach out to us so that they're not bothering you. I'll have to ask internally if there's a way to like technically CC the site on the score report. I'm not sure if that's something that's possible, but I can check on that. But the candidate's the one that should be receiving the score directly from us. And something just to mention, in some cases, they're not receiving the emails because they're using a military email address that's blocking our emails. So if you have any Air Force IDs, right, those are most cases getting blocked. So using the personal, I know we're going to be doing an update on TCNet that'll say that it'll say use personal email. So that could be a way to help, receiving your score reports, because a lot of times that's what we see the issue being. And you're welcome, Carla. Thank you guys at UMGC for all the support.
We have a question about why we're using TCNet and not Prometric testing software. I think that the short answer is that all these exams are built out on TCNet and all the test centers are very familiar with TCNet. So it tends to work well for this purpose for delivering. I don't know if there's anything, Nick, to add to that, but that is the software that is really embedded in the NTCs.
Yeah, it's a good question. That it's kind of one of those situations that that's how it's been a long time that that's what's been used. And that will it be for the next 30 years on TCNet? Maybe not. Maybe it will eventually move over, but right now it is the best option. Perfect. And go ahead, Michael.
Go ahead. I was just going to add that if anything that you want to ask us, didn't get answered here today, or if you have any questions that you just want to ask us one-on-one that might not be as applicable to the whole audience, again, hit us up anytime. I mean, Nick is really keen to hear from everyone, and I know we've had some of these conversations with you in different areas. But if there's something that's very specific to your situation, please don't hesitate to contact us.
Yep. And then just lastly, I want to take this one last question because it's helpful for everyone, right? Any suggestions on raising awareness about DSST? Just getting the word out there, letting all the advisors know about the program. If your university is one that accepts the credits, letting everyone know about it, hosting events on campus. And you can do that with us, right? My email's here if you ever want to partner with anything. If you want me to hop on a call, if you guys are hosting, an informational session and you want me to hop on and do a presentation similar to this, more geared toward candidates, let me know. We'll be happy to do what we can. Partnering with social medias, right? If you guys want to do some social media partnering because you accept it for credits, you can hopefully reach out then, to your students at your university and get the word out there better that way. So that's definitely a couple of suggestions. And if anyone else has anything, feel free to mention it. But thank you guys all so much for coming. A lot of great info. And if there's any more questions trickling in, which we have here, we'll definitely get to them. I'll reach out one-on-one and, hopefully more to come. Michael and I are excited. We've got a lot of positive things happening on this program over the last year. But there's definitely more to do, more to move forward. And hopefully I'll see everyone at NCTA who will be there next week.
Great. Thanks again, everyone. Appreciate your time. Have a good week.